Hare Krishna, all of you. Welcome to the 14th day. Yesterday was the 13th day. Today is the 14th day, and you will really enjoy how much the science and spirituality has a connection with this. So we'll begin with our invocation prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshura Unnilitanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतारुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासवादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all the devotees. Let's start with our obeisance to Radha Govinda deities, and the day begins very well, and the day it's so informative today that every day how do I behave, what do I do. So with all his blessings, let's begin the day. We are gratitude to the ISKCON Bangalore Radha Govinda Temple and all the organizers, all the devotees. Without you, our journey is not at all possible. And most of the time, whenever anything is posted, one or two persons will leave the group. So I had been saying that when you find it overwhelming, you can just look into it and delete it or send it to your email. So don't get overwhelmed. The phone will not hang because automatically the settings are such that it will get erased. So don't worry about it. Okay, so let's move on. For 10 minutes, we do the techniques of mind control because it's the class for youth is science and spirituality. We are trying to relate it to Bhagavad Gita, science and spirituality. So the heading itself explains, and we have been seeing a lot of techniques in mind control. And I was really happy when, when in the group they asked, what is the message today? So that means they're watching, what is the message I'm going to get today? So every day we need some message. And when the message is very relevant to my own life, why not? And where I get some direction, where I get some path, where I get my peace and harmony, where I find some answers. So as I had been always saying that, for every device, we have a manual and we start working through. But then for our life, there is no manual, but Bhagavad Gita is the manual. So it's a beautiful explanation where, what is consciousness and things like that. And now they have started, the scientists, those who are Nobel laureates, and everybody has understood there is something beyond. There is something beyond. So that's what we're going to see today. Okay. The basic elements of behavior. When somebody was asking me, what is it today? Then I immediately said, it's the behavior. Everything is related to behavior today. So driving a car, playing basketball, or hitting a tennis ball depends on one level, on exact muscle coordination. Okay. But if we consider how the muscles can be activated so precisely, we see that more fundamental processes are involved. Brain has to provide the right messages to them and coordinate those messages. Many of you know about, you all would have done it in high school, all this coordination, motor functioning. Such messages, as well as those that enable us to think, remember, and experience emotions, are passed through specialized cells called neurons. 1 trillion neurons throughout the body are involved in the control of behavior. 1 trillion. Okay, so body's neurons receives signals from the environment. This is a very important line. So body neurons get the messages, signals. Brain and nervous system, consciousness, all have been researched so well. The scientists have done a lot of research. Consciousness is the awareness of the sensations, thoughts, and feelings being experiences at a given moment. I've been talking about thought process, feelings, actions, feelings, actions. So beyond that, now consciousness. We're going to just have a glimpse of consciousness. It's not a psychology class. It's something to do with what is it that Krishna wants to tell us today. Okay. So what is consciousness? Awareness to one's own mental activity as well as the environment. So it has three applications: sensory awareness, all your jnanendriya, karmendriya, everything. Inner awareness, something to do with your intelligence and your mind. Then sense of self. Self here is the soul. Okay. So mind, body, consciousness. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as a tortoise draws its limbs. Look at the tortoise. Within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Okay. All the senses are all just pulled inside. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 58th shloka, we read this. So now moving on to consciousness. So what is this mysterious thing called consciousness? And why should it be important to you and to me? What if consciousness is a ground of being? B-E-I-N-G. Is it a ground of being? We are just asking one another. What if possibilities discovered by quantum physics are the possibilities of consciousness itself? Remember, there is already a class of people who think in this way. Finally, they are also called mystics, and they say it is all God. Some of them have started saying. Okay, finally, a few scientists dare to say that some of the characteristics attributed to God are similar, okay, to what we describe as consciousness. At last, people have started realizing there is something beyond. Individual seekers of truth must, one by one, dive beneath the agitation caused by the storm at the surface. At the surface, there's a lot of storm. But then diving into it, beyond that agitation and find peace in the depths, that's the essence here. So what are we doing here? The biologists have no answer. Okay. And even a Nobel laureate like Stephen Weinberg writes that the more he studies the universe, the more pointless it seems. It seems pointless for them also, the scientists. Yet the very real possibility exists that consciousness is the ground of being, our life, our being here. Okay, wouldn't that point to a purpose and meaning to our existence? Is that giving some purpose to our existence? Is it something to do with science and spirituality getting merged? Okay. This leads us to the ancient Eastern concept of chakras. There is some relation to our body also with this material nature. There are 7 of them. Okay. And we know them by the places in our body where we feel. When energy is in the heart, we feel love. And when the energy is in the lower chakras, how does that 1 trillion neurons is working? No? So when energy is in the lower chakras, we may feel fearful or unsettled. So let's put 2 and 2 together. In terms of the chakras, each feeling is connected with a particular set of organs as well. Fear, for instance, is associated with the stomach or digestive organs. Do you see the connections? Organs are representations of the vital body, that is chakra energies, and morphogenetic fields, that is biochemical signs. You will see Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Ahananta, Vishuddhi, Anya Chakra, then Sahasrara. Sahasrara is on the top. So when we do the pranayama, all these chakras get activated. And when you do the Mahamantra Japa, then all this, the chakras gets activated. It gets rejuvenated. It gets the energy. Okay. And it actually activates your consciousness level and it leads to your sattva guna. During the last few centuries, Science hasn't left much room for religion or spirituality or even for God. Okay. According to much of the Western science, we live in a material world that is governed by physical laws, and we ourselves are merely the result of the principles of evolution and natural selection. Even consciousness is thought to be the product of physical processes in the brain. There was a big conference, where is the mind? Where is the mind? Only you know, I know. Okay, where is the mind? Where is the mind situated? Brain, we know. Brain, yes, we all know where it is situated. Okay, so nowadays, however, this is the important. Modern physicists have pulled the rug out from under our understanding of the world. They have discovered, for example, that at subatomic levels, we can no longer locate or identify anything called matter. Instead, they suggest there are only waves of possibilities which require some other factor before a measurable scientific event emerges. That other factor is consciousness. That is a quantum mechanism. See, that consciousness, where is it? What is it? Nobody knows. Okay, so the new paradigm of reality based on the rediscovery of consciousness within science is not only giving us back our free will, but also is identifying the source of that free will as the spirit within us. There is a soul within us at last. Okay, the oneness that spiritual and healing traditions have always propounded. The new paradigm is showing us great promise for integrating science and spirit. So science and soul, science and spirit. So spirituality, and where is it? The science and spirituality, consciousness, reality, and the divine. This is a very nice, and it will be there in our, so you can go in detail about this. It's not exactly quantum physics, but people have, at least the scientists have realized it's something beyond matter. It's something beyond all this. That consciousness is there, and there is something super also. There is something very different also. So the mind or consciousness in general is naturally the domain of mode of goodness, sattva. Consciousness itself is called sattva in Sanskrit. Unless the mind is calm and clear, we cannot perceive anything properly. So the mode of goodness, sattva, creates clarity through which we perceive the truth of things and gives light, concentration, and devotion. Rajas and tamas, that is the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance, are factors of mental disharmony, causing agitation and delusion. So they result in wrong imagination and misperception. So slowly we are moving on from the consciousness, which is not a matter in the material world, in the body. In Ayurveda, in all our Vedas, talk about this consciousness. Chit, achit, moving, non-moving, the one which is living, non-living, and having that super soul, supreme Godhead as a spectator, as an antaryami within every soul. All these are given. Immediately those scriptures are not accepted. Right now also they are doing research. But all those research on one side, they have at least understood there is something beyond, Okay. So yesterday what we did, now we move on to what we did in Bhagavad Gita yesterday. Kshetranya, if you remember. Arjuna 6 questions. What is Prakriti? What is, Purusha? So when the explanation went on, Edat Veditum Ichchami, all these I want to know. So Kshetranya Jnana. Okay, then Kshetragyam Chapi Mam Vidhi, process of acquiring knowledge. How do we acquire the knowledge? Maya Chananya Yogena, then Nyayam, object of knowledge, the goal, the achieving. How do you achieve? How do we go about? What is your goal? Everything is there. Sarvata Pani Padam Tat, Prakriti, Purusha, and union. Karanam Guna Sanghoshya, vision of knowledge. All this we were told yesterday. Kshetra Kshetranyor Evam Antaram Jnana Chakchusa. Okay. Today, very important to our behavior, our daily attitude, the way we are born, why we are here, what is our purpose. Everything gets into this. 3 modes of material nature. Guna Traya, Traya. Vibhaga Yoga. So the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga is what we are going to do in chapter 14. Yes, Mataji, first shloka.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñatva Munayas Sarve Param Siddhimito Gataha.
Srijita Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. The blessed Lord said, "Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection."
Yes, you remember, from his, he was Bijamaham, 7, all those Saptarishi, Atri, Gautama, then Bharadwaja, all of them, how they got that renunciation, how they got the knowledge. So now Krishna is going to explain. Yes.
Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyatanti cha.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution.
Yes, when you are fixed in his knowledge, that is, when you have understood that, one can attain to the transcendental nature. Everybody is looking alike, right? They're all Nitya Suris. They've all gone there. So thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, not disturbed at the time of dissolution. They are all permanent. They are all permanent. They are the same, like, they will be the same the way Krishna is in Goloka. Sarva?
Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavanti Yaha Tasam Brahma Mahadhyonir Aham Bija Pradapita.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Okay, so yesterday also we saw Annamaya. He is there in that spiritual Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So everything, slowly and gradually you will find that he is the Bija. I am Aham Bijan Dadami. I am the seed giving. So as in the form of, the food, the prana, the way he is there, the Jnana, then Anandamaya. So Sarva Yonishu, in all the living entities, the Yoni, wherever it starts sprouting, like it comes out as a form of egg or as in the form of, so that Bijam, that seed for any living entity is given by only Paramatma, only Krishna. Okay. So the same thing is explained here, that he is a seed giving father. He is a only Purusha. That is what you have to understand. In 12 Alvars, in Ramanuja's Sampradaya. So these 12 Alvars, they were all Parangusha Nayaki. They were written poems in hymns as a Nayaki Bhavam. So that they, as if they are all Nayaki and he's the only Purusha. So that particular philosophy, that particular tattva says all 4,000 verses, of course, except Periyalvar. Periyalvar has talked about, like, Krishna is a son. Palland means you please live long, you be healthy. So he is like a father. But rest all, like, Viraha Vedana, the way the gopis were in the form of, like, in the separation, how they wrote, what they talked, how they sang, same way all of them have sung. So he is the only Purusha. He is the only person who is the seed-giving person. That is, he impregnates every living entity. Okay.
Sattvam rajastama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibaddhanti mahabhavo dehe namo yayam.
Material nature consists of the three modes goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
So we are all puppets in the image that you see here. We are the puppets in their hands. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva in the morning, afternoon, Rajas running around, anxiety, I need to do this, I need to do this. So that is Rajas, and Tamas, of course, sleeping is important, equally important, that laziness in the evening. So the timing is also like that. But the all these are all in the unmanifested form Krishna is, but we all come under that. We come with that, and the environment, the entanglement, whatever we just follow that. So once this knowledge is given, then it is up to us whether to do that way with the mode of goodness, sattva, rajas, or tamas. Everything in detail we will go in this. That is sattva guna, sattva, or the mode of goodness. How does it come? Is it because of the food, or is it because of your environment? Is the way those who are in mode of goodness, what do they do? How do they talk? The way they behave, charity, sacrifice, what do they do? Then the same thing applies. So we are all as puppets, you see this, but beyond this, there is nothing. Although he is the creator of all this, but he doesn't get attached to this. He is a renunciate person, and he doesn't belong to all this. He never gets entangled. Okay. He's only a watch. He's only a spectator. He's a proprietor. He's a creator. In the internal world of mind, these are experienced as sattva, that is mode of goodness, purity, compassion, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, comprehension, recognition, generosity, patience, kindness. Yesterday, whatever you saw, did you do the tick, and how many you're all following? Let me know. Once we finish this class, please share that. How much you are all there into like humility, non-pride, non-tolerance, and everything. Rajas is desire, greed, jealousy, anger, attachment, possessiveness, hyperactivity, nervousness, anxiety, aggressiveness, competitiveness, power, prestige, name, and fame. I think we all possess this, okay? We cannot deny, but we are trying to. Once you have come to the class at 6 o'clock, that itself shows that you are trying for the upper one. Tamas, impurity, dullness, envy, fear, delusion, confusion, depression, stupor, unconsciousness, and coma, of course. We are not in coma stage. So spiritual and light purity, truth, desireless. So, it's repeated so much just because we need to understand in which guna, in which mode I am in. So each one of us have to reflect, or try to do that chintan manan. Am I into this? Am I into this? So every act that we do, every talk that we do, every speech that we do, every action that we do, am I in this? Am I in this? Am I in this? So you need to always reflect upon. Okay. So worldly, intermediate, passion and desire, ambition, action, restlessness are also called Rajaguna. That is, what Rajaguna. There should be, like as a student, that goal setting and all that, without expectations, I have to do everything, all that will be there. How much, where do I draw the line is all in you. Once we understand, once we have this knowledge, and we need to pull back, push back, the senses have to be in your hands. That is in your mind, your intelligence. Tamas is evil, dark, inertia, indifference, ignorance, and laziness, procrastination. Okay. This is yes, Mataji.
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकमनामयं सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघा.
O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness.
Yeah, just see this. Can you all hear? Yes, were you able to hear? Shrija Mataji. Srijita.
Mataji's sound was breaking, you know.
Sound was breaking. Yeah, that is there in this. Actually, it is the one of the ISKCON has produced. I think there is a break. Like we couldn't understand. But then this is the mode of goodness, where one finds so peace. The air is clean, enjoying the nature, trying to find out. So the same park. When a person with the mode of goodness goes, and when a mode of this one rajas or mode of passion goes, how do they react? How do they respond? That's what we're going to see. Okay, right. Okay. We have seen this. Yes, Rajo, 7th shloka.
रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संगसमुद्भवं तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम्.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this one is bound to material fruitive activities.
All that they will do, if I give him dinner, then I am going to get benefited. If I do this, I'm going to. So everything material fruitive activities. So everything is like not in Krishna consciousness. People are, so in those who are in mode of passion, so much of desire, so much of longing, that things will be done only to fulfill their desires. Let's watch this. You may not understand because the language and this thing is not very clear in this. So all that desire, longing, getting, yes, anxiety, you can become so rich, all that stress you can see in their faces, at least even if we don't understand. Yes. Tamas.
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनं प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिस्तन्निबध्नाति भारत.
Alas
O
and
son of
Nidra.
O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned.
So the conditioned soul is bound by this. So intoxication, okay, a lot of TV, a lot of video, that is very clearly said. And then shut the door and we will enjoy inside. So only the other modes just watch, and this mode is totally under the peer pressure, peer influence, or that's not the peer. Here it is only the tamas. How one falls into that and doesn't even bother about what is happening outside. That happens with many, whether they are in whatever stages they are in, but then that is the delusion, that is the madness. and that laziness, procrastinating, postponing everything. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, many students, I came to know that they are, so much in that, they are so much into the video games and other things, they're not able to come out and they become addicted also. It's very unfortunate. But then the mode of passion and the mode of goodness goes up and down, back and forth. Okay, I'm in mode of right now I'm in the mode of passion. So let me pull myself. No. I have to do my duty. I have to do my duty. So that sort of a message which goes to our mind, that needs to be just held. That we have to hold on to that. Okay. Yes. 9th shloka.
सत्वं सुखे सञ्जयति रजः कर्माणि भारत ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत.
The mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions him to the fruits of action, and ignorance to madness.
So you're seeing this, image here, which clearly indicates. So more you are into the mode of goodness, what happens is you become conditioned to that, slowly and gradually. That is the condition one to happiness. Initially, it is very painful. So any mode of goodness work is very, very painful. When you start, you have to get up early, you should start chanting 16 rounds of mala, and then, cleaning, shaucham, making prasadam. So initially, any work, anything that is in mode of goodness gives you a lot of stress, a lot of pain. But then slowly and gradually, once you do that, it becomes that internal purification. Slowly and gradually, you become so much in tune to that, then you don't want to, even if you don't keep the alarm, it automatically you will get up in the Brahma Muhurta times, take shower, take bath, and start your japa. What happens? Why is it that you become conditioned to that? So if you are in the mode of passion, you become conditioned to that fruitive action. Then when you are in the ignorance, it's okay, it's all right, let it go. It's fine, I don't care. All these words comes because of this mode of ignorance. So covering one's knowledge, that knowledge is covered, then binds one to madness. Yes, Mataji. Sometimes you read the shloka is not given here. You can read this, the same thing. Sometimes the mode of passion
becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata. And sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
So, without allowing them to take over, this is what. So you don't react. Why do we say that? You don't react to all those things. Then, then you will see that mode of ignorance and mode of passion is in the high. So once you start controlling your senses, then automatically your words, your feelings, your thoughts, when you are cooking, when you are making something, there is no enemy for us. There's no enemy for us. It's all for Krishna. So that sort of a message you keep giving, then you will see that you will not allow that modes to take over you. You will have the control on all these modes. Okay. But here what's happening? They pull you apart. The mind is pulling you apart here, there. All three of the modes of passion and mode of goodness and mode of. So it is up to you. The mind, whether it is the enemy or the friend, you have to see. Okay. So 11th shloka man.
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्याद् विद्धिवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत.
Dvivruddham. Yes, Mata.
The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. 7 gates are on the surface: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and a mouth, and 2 gates are subterranean: anus and genitals.
So they will all be illuminated. What does it mean? That they will have that knowledge. Automatically, you will not allow them to take over you. So that is the reality. Okay, so they are illuminated. That is when the manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced, then you will have the control on that. Yes. 12th shloka, Mataji.
शोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा.
O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop.
So in Varaha Purana, Varaha Swami, Varaha avatar, you all know, right? That boar, that big form. And then when Hiranyakshan takes the earth inside the ocean, he brings her from, just picks up her. So she's asking, what is this? Do you really know anybody in great dharma who follows? So when he's explaining, one of the devotee who is a Chandalan. Chandalan is a very, very lower, like even dog eaters. That person was there, and then it's there in Varaha Purana. That story, one of the Ekadashi, he goes in early morning, the whole night, he does Jagran. Jagran is that one is awake and then they sing. So when they sing, and he says, and when he goes in the midnight, he walks through the jungle and goes to the temple. The temple is near in Tamil Nadu, near Tirunelveli. So there he was going every Ekadashi and used to sing. So once what happens is this one of the demon, they the ones which has not been really all the final rites have not been done. Then there is like Bhoot, Pishach, you have heard all of them. So that is, he's there and he holds him and he says, I'm going to eat you. So then he says, no, please allow me, let me go and sing and then I'll come back. So that is a particular rag. He plays this music in Kaishika rag. So that is why it is called Kaishika Ekadashi. That then when he starts, he doesn't allow. Why will that, the bhoot will leave? He will not leave, right? He wants to eat. So then what happens? He gives all these sins. What you're seeing in Rajas, he says, he lists these sins. If I don't come back, he says, I will sing, I will go to the temple and come back, then you can eat me. So he says, why, how will I, believe you? So he gives around 100 sins, which is all related to mode of passion. Sometimes I will just send a list to you. So whatever you see here, if I do this, I will get this sin. If I do this, I will get this. And most of the sins that you see in this image is all in the mode of passion. That's a very sad. Finally, he says, if I am a true Vaishnava, then I will come back. So now, this one says, okay, let me wait. Vaishnava, when he hears Vaishnava, I'm a true Vaishnava. He comes back, of course, and then, is given the liberation. Yeah, he used to be a Brahmin, did not do the austerities correctly. So, so he became that Brahmasura. Okay. So when I see this, like enjoying or trying to rape or trying to intoxicate it, taking away others' money, cheating everything. You've seen Ajamila's story also, how once the senses gets, then they fall into all this. Those are all greatest sins. One is really, that's the open way, open gate for the hell. Okay. 13th shloka, Mataji.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested.
It is so sad, no? So that we find a lot of people in total in the drug addicted. they are, and then from high school onwards, it has become so common. And it's just not in foreign countries, but it is, I mean, I've heard like, and what they did in Bhutan, when we were there as a school health program, Maruana was, totally, the school students were taught, trained, and the teachers took them. There was a lot of, the production there in the field. So they had to pick it up and then burn it and explain each other. So all these work, a lot of government is doing, but it has become so common. And when I read their writings, they said it's in the pill form, it is in that form, and that is totally in the mode of ignorance. I don't know how they were going to come out. It's the illusion and the madness. 14th shloka.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् मलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets.
So in the mode of goodness, so that is the devotional service. That is the Navavida Bhakti. That is the stages of the Bhakti. Only that can, so the consciousness with the super consciousness, the supreme soul. Otherwise, being in mode of goodness once, that's it. Then always in the mode of madness or mode of passion is not going to help. So when one dies, they have to be in the mode of goodness. 15th
रजसि
shloka.
प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
Mood yonishu jayate.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Yes, when I see the animals, when I see these dogs and cats, even, I really feel whatever they have done, they have come to the animal kingdom, but there were devotees who asked, can they come out? Can they, come have the normal life when they are in the pious family, when they are, surrounded by that, when they hear that soul has got that super soul within. So, they are not hunted, they are not hit, then automatically, slowly, they can also get liberated. Okay. So when one dies in the mode of passion, accumulating money, stock market, this, that, knowing that it is all perishable, and engaged in fruitive activities. So in that mode, when one dies, they go to animal kingdom, then they go to the animal kingdom. Okay.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजस्तु फलदुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion result in distress, and actions performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness.
So you're seeing, automatically, what are the images? What does it show? The temple is the mode of goodness. In the center, you see, that so much of anxiety, so much of distress, so much of, you will see, even in, it used to be World Health Organization building, and beyond that in New Delhi also, I've seen all this. Behind the WHO building will be all this. But right now, of course, it's not clear. So what does it indicate? It is so much of distress. There is a lot of anxiety. There's money, that greed, more. And in the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, what does it show? What is this image? What does it indicate? Anybody? Is there any way to climb up the stairs?
No, ma'am,
It's
no
all,
way. It's
no
blocked.
ways. It's blocked. So in mode of ignorance, it's all blocked. The whole, your mind, your faculty is blocked. So there is no chance of moving. I don't know how many of you have seen this movie, Lord of Rings. Have you seen? So this is a movie, and I think it was again retake, and he gets this ring, and it's like the dwarf. The movie is like, so, but the faces you can see when he's the only person who supposed to be like in that story that he gets that ring, and because it is not misused by him, that ring you can see, that's the movie. And when he is in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance, all his face expressions you see. So I've heard, I haven't seen the movie, I've heard that it really shows a lot of all these characters in this. So yes, Mataji, 17th shloka.
सत्त्वात् सञ्जायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसो भवतो ज्ञानमेव च.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, grief develops. And from the mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develop.
How many of you have started feeling, oh, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I didn't do this. At least now onwards, I'll be trying this. So I'm sure, that the first chapter itself, what the questions that I gave was basically for you to reflect and respond to what it is. So when you get this knowledge, you will try to understand, what I could have done this way. I could have answered that way. This was not the right thing. So such reflection will automatically make us towards the mode of goodness. Okay. Yes, this also the reflection on the faces. 17th shloka we have already read. Yes, 18th Mataji.
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Yes, Swargaloka, you heard about like earthly planets is like, Devi Dham. We are all in that only. Those in the mode of ignorance will go to the Patal, Sutala Atala Patal. See, the rising up of the, then landing, then there was one more, I think. Okay, no. So that is also the image which shows, you will raise up or you will go down. So they're all in the, so Sattva Tantra in Srimad Bhagavatam, they were all given in that. Purusha Avatara described in Bhagavatam. Okay, I think, what, this is to do with the 10th chapter. We will move on. He is a soul. Okay. This is the Bhagavatam, Chirodaya Vishnu, and so 19th shloka.
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature.
So Krishna is beyond all this. Okay, he's in the unmanifested form, but he's the one who has created us with all these. Now, how do you take it? Are you going to be the puppet, or you're going to come out of it? That depends on you. Okay, the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes. The image clearly shows is above all this. 20th shloka.
गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रिं देहि देहसमुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैर्विमुक्तो विमुक्तोऽमृतमश्नुते.
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
Yes, we have four defects: birth, death, old age, and distress. So once you are above all these three modes, detachment, attachment to Krishna. So somewhere you have to now doing devotional service in the Navavidha Bhakti. So what happens? It becomes free. One is not have the fear. Fear only comes in the mode of madness, mode of ignorance. So birth, death, old age, and distresses are there as defects, but one can become free of this and can enjoy the nectar even in this life. Every second, if you think, this is my last minute. What does Parikshit Maharaja sees in Srimad Bhagavatam? In 7 days, what best I can do? He's asking the Suta Goswami. He says Vyasa's son is Su. He says in Naimisharanyam, he sees all of them waiting, all the sages. Is 7 days? Oh, that's good. I can. So Srimad Bhagavatam is taught. So if you think that this is I have just 1 day, then you know what? The best thing we will do, we will be in mode of goodness. That is one thing which is true, which is real. You cannot deny that. So once we are born, we are going to die. Then how best I can do? Abhyasa matrena, only by practice, I can have that, in mode of goodness, I'm going to attain him. So if I keep thinking today, otherwise, when I am in the kapavata pittam, kapam vatam, phlegm, and then vatam and pittam is like all doshas. When we cannot remember him. So every day today onwards, I practice remembering him only. Then I can be in mode of goodness. You can just break. This is the bondage, like you are embodied and you are conditioned soul. You have got entangled. So once you are free from this, then you are automatically, you can start enjoying that nectar even in this life. Okay, it's the same. Let me see. This is Govinda Hambajami. You will see 1973 Prabhupada in New York, and New York in 1973 was not an easy access. Was not an easy access. All hippies and everywhere drugs, everywhere intoxication. The youth was like, and in that, with so much of faith, so much of conviction, when he had 2,000 followers, can you imagine? I really, when I read, oh my God, just because his guru has asked him to, take this book and why don't you translate and, take it to the Western world. Just the guru, and he waited for 30 years to make it, like implement that. Each one of us have to have a goal, something that, in the service, what best I can do. Start today. That should be our criteria. Otherwise, it's of no use. Liberation, ho ya na ho. Whether you get the liberation or not from the birth and death, but start the service today on. You have a bona fide guru, the spiritual master, just follow the teachings, the prescriptions. It is like, the doctor giving you the prescriptions. The medicine is there in front of you. And it depends on you, how you take it, how well-being you follow. What is this mental well-being? How do I control my mind? All these things are what we are seeing with the knowledge that's been given by Krishna to Arjuna. It's for us. Yes, Mataji, 21st shloka.
Arjuna uvacha कैर्लिङ्गैस्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचार कथं चैतां स्त्रीगुणानतिवर्तते.
Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature?
Yes, what is his behavior? Who is transcendental to those modes? How does he behave? So do we have any examples? Now that's for us to know. That's why Arjuna is asking on our behalf. Who is it? You all know.
Narada Muni.
Yes, Mataji. You can just read this one. The blessed Lord said.
The blessed Lord said, He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a cloth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings, such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
Will it be possible for all of us to practice this? We can practice. Not getting involved in any of the discussions which doesn't really require to be discussed. And when you see somebody shouting, arguing, and just keep blessing from inside. Krishna, give them sadbuddhi. Krishna, be with them and be kind. Just look at them, give a smile. So we need to practice. It's very, very difficult. It is not so easy. I'm just telling you, but I practice every day. It is not easy, and especially when your dear and near ones, when they are in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance, then what do? You cannot hate anybody because it's all there. Krishna has created. So you don't have to get entangled, but then you don't have to get attached. So this is what we all need to practice: pleasure or pain. So much of balance. That mode of goodness is not an easy thing to follow. See, he was always active. That one thing you should remember. Mode of goodness does not mean that you become inactive. Active is being active, because we cannot be without action. So, Nishkama Karma Yoga. And that's the easiest way. But by doing that, everything to the Krishna consciousness, everything that, what I do is all Krishna. If people are around you criticizing, bullying, there are so many. I mean, I understand the youth today. It's not so easy for you all to be like, going to the college or coming home. A lot of pressure. But then how balanced, with all your agony, with all your anxieties, still you are here at 6 o'clock. It clearly shows that you're still holding on. You're holding on. So there is some mode of goodness which makes you to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So hold on to that and make sure the association with whom you are try to influence them also. Yes, 26th shloka.
मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते.
One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
The level of Brahman is like not Goloka, it's a Brahman level, Brahma Jyoti level. One who engages in full devotional service and then does not fall down in it. So many stories we have seen, like Bilva Mangal Thakur, little also when they do Madhavendra Puri. Then you have seen Ajamila's story. The sense gratification, the sense will, the sensual pleasure will make Nriga, King Nriga, when he became lizard, some of the austerities not done properly, chanting not done properly, not devotional service. So we have to be so very careful. They don't fall down in any circumstance, but keep on doing the devotional service. Even your thought process while doing, what gain, what benefit? Oh, are they watching me? Are they doing? Even those things are wrong. I just do it for Krishna. That's it. Bindas. I don't really get worried who is watching me. Am I getting the name? Am I getting the fame or infame or whatever? So at once transcends the mode of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
ब्राह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्यास्य व्यवस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्यैकान्तिकस्य च.
And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness, and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal.
Now, that quantum physics picture, that photographs that you see, and here what you see, is it matching? So the consciousness, what the scientists have tried to understand now, total elimination. So they don't know what, where, how, the atoms, inside the atoms also, who is there inside. So this image and that image are the same. That's what I was like, okay. So I'll stop sharing here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Now, this 3 modes that we are learning, we are understanding, kindly make a list of what you do, how you think, what you feel for your own self, okay? That's the good way of beginning. Like supposing, for example, somebody is shouting at you, or, maybe whether you're a teacher, whether you're a professor, or a friend or somebody on the road, how do you respond? How do you react? And what feeling that you get in your mind? Always remember, let it be an enemy also. He has Krishna in his mind. He is watching you. Don't think that body as a person, okay? So that's an exercise for you. That body is not a person. For me, the soul inside, and within that soul, super soul. And that's so tiny, but then it's watching. So when I start connecting like that, what will happen? You will be nice, you will be kind, you will be always empathizing with that person. Unconditional positive regard, unconditional love, because you love Krishna, because we are in Krishna consciousness. Okay, I will stop here. And any question if you have, because it's a very emotional topic, consciousness and your 3 modes. These 3 modes is all to do with our behavior. And this is the Jnana Yoga, what we are doing. So from 13th onwards till 18th again, the second chapter. And so it's the gist, it's the brief, it is the conclusion and everything, 78 shlokas in that. Okay, so right now, keep checking, look into it. You will understand that how I can change myself. Okay, I'll stop here. Please, 1 round of chanting, at least all of you start doing. I'm sure you must be doing it. And there is, today there is, we will try to share a guest lecture in the temple, and a highly elevated devotee is going to give the lecture. And I think Prajesh Prabhu has already shared that link. Otherwise, I will share it. It is from 8. This is now morning, no? So 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I think. Yeah. Okay.
Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Mataji.
Prabhu, come. I was waiting. What happened?
Because network problem.
Oh.
To join. And that time I was Seva in Mandir temple.
Oh, okay. That's very nice.
West Bengal. अभी माता जी हम अभी प्रचार में हूँ गीता जयंती प्रचार में मायापुर से थोड़ा 10 घंटा दूर में हूँ मायापुर से।
ओके ओके, मायापुर से 10 घंटे दूर में है। चलिए, आप बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। आप पूरे डिवोशनल सर्विस में हैं और क्लास में भी लगे हुए आते हैं। बहुत बढ़िया। बस कृष्णा जो है प्रभु आपके साथ हैं, और आप यहाँ पर जितने लोग हैं, मैं तो कह रही हूँ कि all blessed souls. I am so happy to be interacting with you. Thank you so much.
माता जी क्लास का बाद में आपके साथ हम बात कर सकते हो कुछ थोड़ा?
जरूर बात कर सकते हैं, कभी भी बात कर सकते हैं। मेरा फोन नंबर आपके पास है, व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं, और क्योंकि मैं यूएस में हूँ, आप जरूर बात कर सकते हैं एनी टाइम। यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम।
फोन नंबर थोड़ा दीजिए ना, मैं हम लिख के रखता हूँ।
अच्छा ठीक है, हाँ 786
हाँ 786
202
786 202
9090।
9090।
हाँ जी। अगर आपको आगे की क्लासेस में ज्वाइन करना है, और आप तो मायापुर में हैं और आगे वॉलंटियर बनना चाहते हैं, कीर्तन करना चाहते हैं, हमारे साथ यहीं पर रहिएगा। और प्रदेश प्रभु हमारे एडमिन हैं, वो आपको पूरा डिटेल भी बता देंगे उसमें। ठीक है, ओके। सो
माता जी जो इस नवंबर में जो क्लास हुआ था, जो टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट नमोनिष्ठा प्रभु जी, तो उनके क्लास में भी हम ज्वाइन किए थे। हम 18 डेज फिर गीता सुना था, फिर आपके क्लास में ज्वाइन थे। हाँ, तो फिर उससे प्रभु से कांटेक्ट नहीं हुआ। प्रभु तो मायापुर में आया था, तब हम बाहर में था प्रचार के लिए, तो हम बोला था तुम हमारा साथ जुड़े रहो। तो
बहुत बढ़िया।
बंगाली में गीता क्लास के लिए भी बोला था हमको, बंगाली की।
जरूर बन के रहिएगा, जोड़ के रहिएगा। नाम दास प्रभु को आप मेल भी लिख सकते हैं, और यहाँ पर भी हमें बताएंगे तो हम आगे भेज देंगे। ठीक है, अभी हम लोगों को वो चैंटिंग शुरू करके आप करिएगा। हाँ, जय श्री कृष्ण, पंचतत्व मंत्र बोल के।
जय श्री कृष्ण। अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। I hope you all do one, at least one today Sunday, being Sunday, do that, take the Tulsi Mala and do the chanting, at least one round. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I will stop here. Okay.
धन्यवाद,
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam to everybody. Hare